Everyone, thank you for joining us today. Welcome to Sihasin Hour. Today is the final episode of our special helium series. And we're so honored to have with us Anson Etsitty, Vice President of the Diné Hataałii Association. Anson, thank you so much. And Anson is actually traveling right now, so he's kind of stopped his travels momentarily to join us. So he'll only be here with us for about 30 minutes, but we're so thankful that you're taking that time, Mr. Etsitty. So, but I'll quickly introduce myself and then I'll hand things over to Mr. Etsitty to introduce himself, and then we'll go ahead and get started with the conversation. She'e ethel branchin she mi potwani nishla nakai bashes chin sitnajini dashache do nakai dashanala say Zizi Denasha, and I'm speaking to you from Quintana. I'm the executive director of Diné Hataałii, which does business as Navajo and Hopi Families COVID-19 Relief Fund. And again, we're so happy to have Mr. Anson Etsitty with us here today. Mr. Etsitty, do you mind introducing yourself?
Okay. Yate, she ya put it in now create an airbuses chain. But she me ye the shit on Sunday. Anson Etsitty and she died at Helena, many forum. Okay. I was born there in the Hugon and raised there, still living there. I'm 61 years old. My parents are Stacy and Elizabeth Etsitty, Lake Stacy and Elizabeth Etsitty. That's where I'm from. And I'm with DHA, with A being in a lot of organizations. Okay.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. Well, the reason we have you here today with us is to talk about that helium proposal for 3 different sites, 2 of them in the Sihasin chapter and 1 of them in the Tisnaspas chapter. Actually, it includes the community of Tisnaspas as well. And I understand that the Diné Hataałii Association passed a resolution taking a stance against opposing this development. And I know there are many cultural prohibitions to this type of development, and we just love to hear, your perspective as a Hataałii in terms of what kind of impacts this type of development will have, in particular in this region, if you're able to talk about that, and maybe just tell us a little bit about, what inspired the Hataałii Association to pass that resolution opposing the development. We'd love to hear what you're able to share with us. So thank you. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, no. Helium, no sun, they get a holoya. It's in the earth. Although, I guess they have to drill so far down to the earth to get that helium out of there. So our culture ways, or culture of everyday living. To me, it seems like everywhere you step it's a sacred place. Okay, there will be a plant there. All these are sacred elements, herbs. And then we're not supposed to disturb these, not at all, unless we have to do some offering to the earth. And also there's rocks too, and there's trees, pinyon trees, cedar trees, aspen trees, blue spruce, all those. You in Samoans, we use that. We use that cedar for our food, cornmeal. Sage. That's our life way of herb. We use those like that to drink it and bless ourselves with it. And also, and we use it for that stress medicine. So overall, wherever you stop, there's elements there. There's a sacred herb there.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you very much. And do you mind sharing? Oh, oops. I think we lost Anson's video there for a second. But do you mind maybe sharing a little bit more about the resolution and some of the statements made in the resolution, if you're able to? That'd be great.
The resolution?
Mm-hmm.
On the resolution, that one with the DHA president, vice president, and treasurer and secretary, we have a different group. Like with my group, we have a like separate organization as Hataałii or ceremonies. My ethic is ceremony, and the president ethic is the Hataałii, and the secret side is the treasurer, Daniel Johnson. That's this sacred site, ARG. So ARG, the resolution that came in, we move it forward to Daniel Johnson under Daniel Johnson's sub-organization. So my affect is the Hataałii or the ceremony affects. So I haven't really get into that yet with Daniel. So we are going to support it strongly later on as the time goes.
Are there any sacred sites in the regions that are identified for development, or is the concern just the plant life and the rocks and the natural elements that are there?
How many sacred sites? Well, it depends. In Sihasin, this the whole mountain. Look at the mountain. That's what they call that whole mountain from the north to south all the way to I-40. That's a mountain. That's the male mountain. This Vakangita. Got set the section. Aro has his arm. That torsionasti. That's the Navajo Nation. That's part of the mountain's arm. There's like a waist at the Washington Pass, and from there there's like a thigh up to the Blackhead, and then from there is part of the lake in the feet up there. It's there. It's got there spiritually. And then over here, just for understanding. The Black Mesa, the Black Mountain, is the female mountain. There's a head to it. There's the body, the chest, and everything, all the way down to Indian Wells. Those black peaks over there are the toes to that mountain. From the beginning. So even I could not begin to live, but another in need to live. We're going to offer pearls and stone, offer stone yield on it only, because not in the doesn't only the even yet the even yet none set a put on us here. A put up on it, lady. Of course, the additionally, I asked for what they know has a put alcohol. Don't touch it. Well, cheap around the ant pick is not supposed to disturb that. But I don't black ain't that but since I have undergo on any like prairie dog hole and all that biter not straight up around a cool a do. So the stir just eat not stable at the yield not in answer the hunters and the transfer hunters and even yet. you're not supposed to disturb those. If it's only, then that may create needs on that day for that. Because not that just what Ella.
Mhm. One of our concerns from our organization's perspective, we care a lot about the health of our people. That's what inspired our work with the COVID Relief Fund. And also we came in knowing the history of extractive development on Navajo Nation, like the uranium development, the coal development, and at a certain point, we've had so much extraction and so much disturbance and violation of these things that we were not supposed to do as Diné people. I mean, how does this fit into sort of that broader history of activity where instead of protecting as we have that duty and leaving these things alone, what does this additional measure of disturbance kind of do to that that landscape of violations?
Okay, disturbance would be if we start disturbing these places, like I explained, it's going to affect our weather-wise. Today, we're supposed to have spring, summer, fall, and winter. These 4 seasons are supposed to have a different season throughout the year. So anything that we do, anything that we disturb, it will affect our clock of the season. Even the rain. Like we had this beautiful rain last week or a couple of weeks ago, and I was hoping it would stay like that. That's supposed to be the spring rain, the female rain. There's a female rain and then male rain. So the male comes in summertime, female comes in the spring and fall time. It does interfere with that, and also it does interfere within the environment, the air, the even in constellation, even in the universe, it can disturb that to how the stars goes around. See, all these stars in the universe is our calendar. It's our calendar. Certain stars comes up for certain months, and we have the Nejigo. We have 13 moons per year, and that's why our culture is going slow. So it does disturb that. So as long as the right stars comes up for the right month, and mention that with the new moon, that's good. Other than that, if it gets off, then we're off. So that's that.
Okay, and I just want to remind our viewers that we have a short session today. Unfortunately, Mr. Etsitty has a busy schedule today and was able to fit us in for about 30 minutes. So we have just a little bit longer. He's actually going to have to hit the road here in a couple minutes, but he should have reception until halfway through the hour. So if folks have any questions, please post those in the chat, and then we can raise them here while we still have Mr. Etsitty with us. So I guess another question I have, Mr. Etsitty, is, is there anything we can do, like if this disturbance happens, and just, this is just 3 development areas. I understand from our conversation with Mr. McClure that there's something like 44 different areas of the Navajo Nation that have the opportunity for helium extraction. So, once this goes through, this is probably not going to be the only 3 areas where they're going to do drilling. if this continues, if this moves forward, is there anything we can do to correct the imbalance that's created?
Okay, the more drilling we do into the earth, okay, let me go back a little bit, back into Black World. Black World, there was a big room in the middle of the earth, okay? So after that, Black World went through up to emergent, Diné Hataałii. That Black World got all filled up with water. That room that's inside the earth, the Black World, filled up with water, yeah. It came into all these like helium, gas, oil, and so the lean. So that's kind of like holding up the earth together. Okay, and we do a lot of drilling, a lot of oil and gas and pumping out of the earth. It's going to become like a hollow inside. Once it gets a hollow inside, then it might start caving in. The quagga, and then the earth, the sun, be that has its own spirit inside the earth. It's got a head, toes, whatever we have. It's like that too. And the earth has a heart. That's where we pray to. That's where we get our blessing. The richest blessing is coming from the earth. It's the number one element we need is earth that we live on, we walk on, we run on. Even though we jump, we fall back to the earth. So even that's number one element. That's the way I look at it. That's the way I teach. So out of the number two elements is the air, the oxygen that we live. The number three is water. The number four is sun. So all these four elements together, it has to be there, all of them all four that has to be there to make a living, to let things grow and let humans live, enjoy their life.
You mentioned water, and that we do have one question in the chat about how water will be affected as an element with this type of development. Is that something you're able to comment on?
The water, how could be affected?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, today, water, spring water coming out of the earth is the richest water, okay? You go out there, drink that spring water, that's a good water. And then when it comes out of the earth, going to the barrel, and the barrel, the water that's in the tank out there, they treat that water with chlorine. And we drink it and we use it. Is chlorine by itself good to drink? Is it okay to drink? Is it good for our body? To me, it's no. So we do disturb the water with that chlorine, okay? And that's what most of the sickness coming from today. That's the way I look at it. Mm-hmm. And also they have this called bottled water. They buy it in the store, and we see that plant where they do the bottled water, and that wastewater coming in the canal into a plant, that wastewater, and then comes out on the other end of the plant as bottled water. Okay, so is that safe to drink for us, the net people? All that thing together in that wastewater. So we are that bottled water is ruining our body, us the net people. That's the way I look at it.
Okay, and then we have a question from one of the viewers. She says her mom says that the earth is bleeding right now, and she wants to understand that statement more, do you know what her mom might be referring to by saying that the earth is bleeding?
The earth is breathing?
Bleeding, like the blood.
Oh, bleeding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was worried that it didn't go through right. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, what I explained earlier, that water that fill up with the earth and black world. Yeah, if we take these kinds of elements out of the earth, yes, it's considered as a bleeding. Just like we cut ourselves and blood comes out and we start bleeding. You know, if we lose all our blood, we will die, right?
Mhm.
So it doesn't that matter.
Mhm. And that relates to the helium as well as like other gases and substances.
You were breaking up for a
Oh,
little bit.
sorry. Oh, I was just clarifying. So, you know, extracting the helium is like extracting blood from the earth.
Yeah, like I said, all this helium, propane, gas, oil, yes, any of these taken out of there is going to be considered as bleeding. Yes, we're back on the road now, so I don't know how long we'll have reception.
Okay, well, thank you so much for stopping and taking some time to join us with good reception. Let's see if there are any more questions from our viewers. And if not, then I think we'll go ahead and let you focus on your trip. I'm not seeing any additional questions. Is there anything you want to, like a closing statement you'd like to leave our listeners with? Any reflection you might have on this proposed helium development?
Yeah, stop drilling. Stop drilling. Stop digging into the ground. This earth is our mother. And son, you know, they can echo hata billiard and it's just a nagging. My Jay is done in on son not. They've been out of a yin, but not no son being, but no. We don't just show. And I do is always sing that earth song. You know, nevertheless, you know, things gonna be okay. Out of it, which is what this is. Naked on and out of it and skido, but and yeah, but only few of us believe in these medicinal which is which is with that. So more likely, you know, you'll be communicating with all the elements that you pray to understand with one another. So my bottom line is don't drill out that thing. That's for money. Green. Okay. But what's money means according mentioned with our earth. Money is nothing. That's the way I think. Our elderly way back 1800, early 1900s, you know, they didn't live by money. They made it through without money, without transportation. Just thinking back, you know, everything was natural that time. The environment was so good, so clean. Now it's all messed up. Even you look at the clouds, you know, they're back in the 60s. You see the pictures back in the 60s. The clouds, they're very, very clear, very white. But now if you look at the clouds, all foggy, looks like foggy. So that's that.
Wow. Okay.
That's my closing remark. I don't know if anybody have a question.
Let's just check quickly. Doesn't look like we have any additional questions, but thank you. That was Oh, here's one question. So the question is, what do you think will happen if they extract the helium and other gases from Mother Earth?
What will happen?
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, if they start taking out too much of those, it's going to start caving in. That's what's going to happen. And then it's going to affect our seasonal clock, like I was saying. It's going to affect a lot of things. So our Earth, our mother, and then the sky is our father. The parent right here, we live in between. Like sun's our father, moon's our mother. That there's female mountains, male mountains. They work together like that. So there's got to be female and a male to make a living. That's the way I see the fire. Everywhere the fire goes, part of the fire is female, part of the fire is male. Oh, not that. We're going to have it for a long time. That's what it is.
So you mentioned that the helium, all of these natural resources were created in the Black world. Is there anything that, like, if there is collapse, is there a risk of things from that previous world kind of coming into this world that's opened up by that collapse?
Oh, yeah, it can affect the pollution, this helium, propane, gas, oil, it's going to pollution too. That's what makes these clouds pour. Earlier I said that.
Yeah.
And that's going to pollution too. So we might be breathing it in later on, which is good for health. Just like uranium. Uranium was here on Earth, in the mountains, in the ground. And there were the deities a long time ago. Again, the Nathan Lindo on the sun is not critical. That's that uranium. So they put out certain places. Like this Black Mesa over here, where they were taking that.
Oh, looks like we might be losing Mr. Etsitty. He is literally driving by Black Mesa right now. So it's an area with, oh, there you are.
You're back on.
Oh, good. Okay. You were mentioning that Black Mesa and the extraction that's happened there, and then we kind of lost you a little bit.
Black Mesa, like I said, is as well the mountains here. Black Mesa is a female mountain. We're driving through it now, so the right side of us, that mountain that's there, is the head to the Black Mesa, and then the there is the heart of the Black Mesa, heart, the J.
Let's see if he's okay. Well, unfortunately, it looks like our reception might be getting tough. So I hate to leave it just like this, but Mr. Etsitty, if you watch this later, we're very thankful to you, and again, for taking the time and for sharing that information, that perspective. But we're going to go ahead and sign off, and everyone have a great day. Thanks for the questions. This legislation is supposed to be before council next week. but it was tabled last January. In January, there was supposed to be a work session. I don't think there's been a work session, so I don't know what the actual timeline looks like. And unfortunately, the council representatives were not able to join us last week. So I'm not sure exactly what the timeline ahead looks like, but I do know that the Doda Helium group is having a march on Monday to the council chambers to continue conveying their opposition to the project. So you can go to their Facebook group page and find more information on the march there. But thank you everyone for sitting through these sessions and learning the different additional components to this complex proposal. And everyone have a beautiful rest of your day. Hagkonet.